Okay, everyone, so we have to start off with the cell membrane. You all know this, but just to make sure that you understand this, the cell membrane is made up of these glycolipids. It has a hydrophilic tail, which is going to be on both the intracellular and the extracellular side, and then these hydrophobic tails that will associate with each other within the membrane. So the membrane is a bilayer. It's got an inner leaflet and an outer leaflet. It is a bilayer. You can make this in a solution. If you put in these glycolipids, they will associate with each other and make a membrane. In the case of a cell, they're made by the cell, and it is the defining feature of life to have a membrane. You have to have a place where life begins and ends, and the membrane is pretty darn important in that. So there are a few things that we want to note about a cell membrane. First of all, ions cannot get across the membrane. They can't get into this hydrophobic region. So they're gonna bounce off. Doesn't matter whether they're positively charged cations, negatively charged anions. Doesn't matter. They're not getting through. So this is a barrier. It's a very good barrier. Now, what can get through? Two things. One is gases. So gases are going to get through, and we're going to look at gases as neurotransmitters. There are, as you know, nitric oxide is a neurotransmitter. Carbon monoxide turns out to be a neurotransmitter. So there are gases that act in cellular communication, and they're going to freely go through the membrane, no problem. The other thing is amphiphilic molecules, and so amphiphilic molecules are a variety of compounds are able to get through membranes. But the one that I would suggest is very important for us to remember is general anesthetics. So general anesthetics of many types, basically, I can't think of a type that this is not true for. They all can partition to the membrane, and their efficacy is related positively to their ability to partition to the membrane. So general anesthetics are very hydrophobic, and they're going to get through, and that is so that's something you want to remember. The final thing that I want to impress upon you is that what is the big component of the cell membrane? The big component is lipids. So a person that is hypolipidemic because they're anorexic, because they have some other disease, this person is going to have a problem staffing their membranes. Where is that going to come into, where's that going to be a problem? Well, it's going to be a problem throughout the entire body, but I would say that it's a huge problem in the brain. Why? Because neurons, unlike most cells, are extensive. They have huge membranes. They need a lot of lipid to staff that membrane. Neurons also have myelin, and myelin is just membrane after membrane. So there's a lot of lipids, not only in the cell membrane, but also in the myelin itself. And there are places where this is even a bigger component of cells than other places. And one of the places where it's a huge component is the retina. In the retina, the photoreceptors have stacks of membranes. They're either internalized or not internalized. That's a detail. We don't need to really worry about that. But for right now, what I want to impress upon you is that photoreceptors have a ton of membrane. That ton of membrane needs a ton of lipids. And it is not a surprise to me that people with hypolipidemia, in particular people with anorexia, have have problems with their retinas. They have a thinning of the retina. So this is something that I don't think that many of your patients will understand, and I want to make sure that you understand this. People need fat to populate their membranes, and there is no organ which needs it more than the brain.